Let's go ahead and move on to item 6.4, consideration of a report on the Lake County CARES Small Business Grant Program. Ms. Hutchinson.
Yes, Matthew Rostein is going to introduce this item, and while he is, Jake, can we make sure that Nicole Flora can unmute and share screen if we don't already have her presentation? So go ahead, Matthew.
Oh,
Matthew's muted.
We can't hear you. You're unmuted, but your mic is not working.
Sorry about that.
There you go.
Good morning, board. Thank you for the opportunity to address you this morning. Appreciate it very much. So as all of your board members would agree, small businesses are the backbone of all of Lake County's unique and diverse communities. And so when it was determined that Lake County would receive a CARES Act allocation, making sure that we were taking care of businesses that were really struggling as a result of COVID-19 was an obvious priority. And so your board set aside $1.3 million, and staff worked in coordination with Lake County Economic Development Corporation to develop the Lake County CARES Small Business Grant Program. And that program enjoyed great success. Many businesses were helped, and I'm very excited to introduce Nicole Flora of Lake County Economic Development Corporation, who will tell you a little bit more and share some stories from that program.
Great, thank you, Matthew. Am I set to go here? Everybody
can hear you.
Okay, great. So I'm gonna go ahead and share my screen and get started here. Is that showing up okay?
We can see it perfectly.
Perfect. Okay. So first of all, good morning, Chair Sabatier and members of the board. I am Nicole Flora, and I'm with Lake County Economic Development Corporation. First of all, I want to say a sincere thank you to all of you for making the choice to invest some of the CARES Act funding into this grant program. As you're going to see in just a minute, it's made a valuable impact on our small business community here. So I'm just going to go ahead and one additional thing. I wanted to offer also a thank you to the Economic Development and Finance Corporation in Ukiah, who was able to offer some of their staff to help review and really make this grant program expeditious. We had a short time frame to get this money out the door, and their staff availability and expertise really helped get money to the small businesses quickly. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started on some of the details. So as you know, there was $1.3 million allocated for this program. Small businesses were eligible to apply for up to $20,000, and grants help them pay for things like lease, mortgage on their commercial properties, utilities, payroll, and other COVID-related costs. So this breakdown here shows that 42% of the 1.3 million went towards keeping businesses current on their lease and mortgages, 22% to utilities, and about a third to payroll. So you really helped keep the doors of these businesses open through this hard time. Okay, why?
It's not cooperating with you. There you go.
Technical difficulties. Okay, so eligibility of businesses. The business had to see between 25,000 and $1 million in revenue. So you're looking for a specific demographic of businesses. They could have up to 20 FTEs, and they had to show that they had an negative economic impact because of COVID. We received 89 applications and were able to award 79 grants. After initial review, 10 of those applications were deemed ineligible for a variety of reasons. The most common reason is they were just outside of that annual revenue threshold. We found that businesses that were in the higher threshold of FTE, up towards 18 and 20 full-time equivalent, they're just going to make more money. In order to pay that many full-time employees, you have to make enough money to be able to make that expense. So we had a few of those. We had a few that were more of a side job or hadn't been open long enough to have made $25,000 in a year. So the majority of businesses that were ineligible were because of that reason. There were actually a few that on paper, they did better in 2020 than they did in 2019. We had one religious agency and one business that had closed with no viable plan to reopen. So one of the decisions that was made about this program was that the county could have said only businesses in the unincorporated area of the county are eligible for grants. We are very appreciative that you chose not to make that decision, that you allowed businesses in Lakeport and Clear Lake to apply and be eligible for this funding. We had 22 businesses in Lakeport and 11 in Clear Lake receive grant funding, and 58% of the grants were made in the unincorporated areas of the county. So I felt like it was a pretty good distribution all around the lake. This is a little bit small. I hope you guys can see it, but I'll kind of run through the data. This is grants awarded by industry. So as you might instinctively know, lodging, restaurants, food service, retail were some of the hardest hits, and we also saw them be some of the most they were the industries where we saw the most applications. So 45% of the grants were made in those three kind of industry categories. And then salons were right behind them with seven awards. We know that they've been also significantly hit. That second column shows the average days closed by industry. You can see that there's a variety of numbers there. The winery industry and retail are the hardest hit. One kind of nuance about this data that I wanted to share with you is this is a self-reported number of days closed. It doesn't necessarily reflect what they were required to close. So some of these numbers are higher than what the local emergency ordinance or the statewide ordinance would have required. And it's not, the other nuance about it is after days closed, once they were considered reopened, there also were self-reporting in our conversations that they were not reopening at maximum capacity. So although they may have closed for a number of days, it doesn't mean they flipped a switch and we're back at 100% capacity for a variety of reasons that we'll get into in a few minutes. The last column there is employees supported by these grants. So 233 employees go to work regularly at a business that was supported by this program. So even though we may not have directly paid payroll for 233 employees, 233 employees are more likely to keep their job because of this program, because the doors were able to stay open with the support of this program. One of the questions that we asked on the application was, how was your business impacted by COVID? And this was a question that they could opt for more than one category. So 73% were negatively impacted because of a forced closure. A significant 50% saw a decrease because of tourism or business travel. Supply chain issues was a really interesting category because depending on the industry, this impacted them at different points of the emergency. So we know that like restaurants saw food shortages in the beginning, and that's kind of evened out for many of them. But retail is still seeing supply chain issues. They're still seeing inventory not being able to come in. Some of it's because of international shipping, some of it's because of manufacturing, and then others, they just don't really know. 26 kind of said other, reading through those other descriptions, it's really, they were mostly issues related to industry specific demand. And then 20% said that they had workforce issues due to health or childcare concerns, or the schools closed and employees couldn't come in because they had to be at home with their school-age children. So with that, I'm going to leave this screen up for just a second. It's a lot of words, and I know you all have it in your packet as well to read, but I wanted to really express to you that during this program, I made a point to either on the phone or in person have a real conversation with business owners about what was going on and how this grant was going to impact them. And I'll tell you that those were the best moments of this program. Many tears were shed when they found out that this grant was going to come through for them, because there has been an emotional toll taken on so many of our business owners, because they're not just responsible for their business, they're responsible for their employees and the livelihood of the community that their employees create for them. So I just really want to express the heartfelt gratitude that these businesses shared with me, and I want to pass it along to you, because the choice that the board made in investing in small businesses here did not fall on deaf ears. They really felt heard by you investing in them and hearing their cry for help. This is not the first emergency that they've seen in the last 5 years, as you're well aware. And this gave them a sense of relief. More than one business said, I'm actually going to sleep tonight because I got this money. I won't actually be up all night. So with that, I'm just going to close and say Lake County Economic Development Corporation is here all the time. We offer technical assistance and we offer access to capital to small business in Lake County. So if there's any business owners out there that want technical assistance right now, there are some additional grant programs, both private and through the state of California. The PPP and the EIDL programs are back up and going, and we have staff and contractors that can help support your application, help you walk through those processes. So this is my office number and my email. Please reach out and find out what resources are available to help get everybody through this. With that, if there's any questions or comments, I'm done with my data for now.
Thank you so much for the presentation, and thank you for making this happen as swiftly as you did. I know that we were always worried that maybe we put too much into the coffer for this program and that we couldn't get it out in time, because the Fed had put a deadline of December 31st to get the money out to our businesses. And even though they seem to have relaxed a little bit towards the latter end of the year, we got it out before even, I think around mid-month, it was all gone. So I do appreciate how efficiently this was done. Opening it up for any comments or questions from the board. Yeah, Supervisor Pyska.
I just want to thank you for getting this work done so quickly and so efficiently. I know it means so much to our businesses, and I've had those conversations too. It was like all year hanging on by their fingernails, and this was just an amazing boost and of morale to offer that kind of support. I did notice some of the businesses that I checked in with weren't aware of the grant, and so I'm just wondering, is there a master list of businesses in our county that we can really work to make sure that everybody's aware of future programs and future resources that we can just pump out on a continual basis?
Can I address that directly, or is that okay? So I didn't want to. So I have a list that the three jurisdictions have provided me based on what businesses have had fictitious name statements and business licenses issued. So I have business names, contact information, direct emails is a harder thing for me to capture. So if we could build that, that would be excellent. And we can talk about that offline, what we could do to build that. I will say that there was a dog and pony show that we did try to get the word out as much as we possibly could. And I did get some of those comments too about how they wish they would have heard about it. So it is unfortunate that it's not a perfect system yet.
Yeah, I know I saw all kinds of information. So I was surprised when people hadn't heard about it, but if they're not connected with the business associations in their town, it's difficult to have them on a contact list. So I think going forward, we're not out of the woods by far. So I would love to talk to you about building that list so that at least we can get as many people as we can in the loop.
It does make a strong argument for businesses to get in touch with their local business association, because we did, like I said, a dog and pony show, but also you can see from, I think Kelseyville is a great example of the KBA and their strong showing and grant awards.
Yeah, I know. Kelseyville did great with the grants.
Yep.
Any other comments from the board? Yes, Supervisor Scott.
Yes, thank you again for taking on this challenge, knowing that there was going to be such a tight timeline to get this money out to these businesses. My question is, will we be continuing to look at these businesses to see who will be continuing to stay in business and who still just was not able to make it even with this help of the grant?
So the EDC is currently in some strategic planning sessions, and this is definitely at the top of their list in using this grant program to continue relationship with businesses, specifically the grant awardees, but just in general, I think it's opened up a door for us to talk more with businesses all around the county. So yes, that is part of the plan, is to stay in contact with them.
Thank you.
Any other comments from supervisors?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. You just, want to congratulate, every recipient of these grants. I know it's not easy to go through that process. They probably have applied for multiple, whether it's a PPP loan or, SBA loan, the EIDL, and probably been denied more than once or twice. So I just want to thank them for working through this process. And ultimately, I want to thank the board and the EDC and everyone who worked on getting this thing rolled out. 79 grants, $1.3 million. That's a great start. As Jessica said, there's a lot more work that needs to be done now, and probably by the end of this year, just to continue supporting our business communities, and we'll continue to do that forever, but just for this COVID-19 situation that we're going through. I appreciate the conversation too about reaching out to that folks that are not part of the business community or part of their business organization, whether it's MAMA, Lake County Chamber of Commerce, Kelseyville Business, just, to encourage businesses to always be involved in the community in those organizations. But I think there's one other, excuse me, one other organization too, our advisory committees, the Middletown Area Town Hall, the Worth and the Earth, those are just another thing I think we should add in there as we're building the capacity, because some folks, business owners, just attend those and aren't part of the business association. But just what an excellent thing. I know I've seen the letters that have come in to our board here and in the appreciation, but ultimately it was just really gratifying to see our administration staff, Carol Hutchinson and everyone else, Matthew, everyone that came up with the idea, we got to get this back into the community, and including Supervisor Sabatier and Supervisor Brown were on this committee. Just a good decision. Ultimately, we all wanted to be able to provide more, and maybe that will happen with the new administration. Maybe something will come down. We're constantly looking at those ideas, but just want to thank everybody and congratulate the folks who went through the process. Just one other thing too, I know that it isn't part of this program, but I do just want to say that I know that there is a new round of PPP loans out there for folks, and they need to be, if you're a business owner, if you got one before, I think the second round applications are available through some of your banking partners, and just don't miss out on anything. So I just want to make that announcement also that have just rolled out in the last couple of weeks for our businesses that we know are struggling, and we'll continue to try and support them. So thank you, everyone, and great work.
Thank you, Supervisor. Supervisor Crandall?
Yes, in the Supervisor Simon, you're absolutely right. They're laying out the PPP loans, a second round as of now. And so, especially if you received one already. So if you've already received one, please get to the bank that you've received one with, and ensure you get your second round filled out. And I just want to also thank you, Nicole, for giving this presentation. Supervisor Sabatier and Supervisor Brown, thank you for putting this, this effort forward and getting us the help we need, or small businesses the help we need. It's unfortunate a lot of businesses didn't benefit from the PPP loan process and EIDL process. So this was kind of like a breath of fresh air to have for some of these businesses who probably had no other chance to make up for any of their revenue losses and their hardships. So again, thank you, and hopefully we can get some more going here in the near future.
Okay, thank you, everybody.
Supervisor
Go for it.
Supervisor, I had one more question. And if we go back to the numbers, because we know that our local bars were the hardest hit. I was looking at it. I didn't count it. How many local bars were part of this program?
I believe there was 2 that was under the brewery/bar that received the grant, is what I saw.
And that was it for the bar. Okay. All right. Ultimately, I'm glad those 2 applied, got that funding. But, hopefully we can concentrate on that as if there's another opportunity for something like this down the road, that our local bars, they're places for community gatherings. Folks go on a lot of things, but they've been one of the hardest hit also, completely shut down for quite a while. So anyway, just thank you for that information.
Okay, thank you. Jake, let's go ahead and open up the Zoom room and see if we have any public comments on this item, please.
All right, I've sent an unmute request out to the Zoom room floor. If you would like to make a comment, please unmute and state your first and last name.
Melissa Fulton.
Yes, Melissa.
Yes, I want to congratulate the Board of Supervisors and Nicole Flora with the EDC. This was a fabulous program, and I appreciate Moke's comments about adding the town councils to our distribution, and we'll be doing that today as far as our Lake County Chamber communications. Anything we can do to help our businesses, we definitely need to continue that effort. So thank you, everyone, for making the money available, working hard to get it out there. It was such a short time frame, and it was phenomenal that Nicole was able to get it out there. And I know she was working late hours to make all of that happen. So great work again by our wonderful people in the County of Lake. And hopefully more and more of our businesses will be able to take advantage of the new funding through the stimulus program. And we'll keep posting as much information as possible on that when we get it. So thank you, everyone. We really appreciate all of your efforts.
For the comment. Anyone else in the public wish to make a comment?
Can I just make a comment to Melissa and the other organizations, all our business organizations? I just want to thank the Lake County Chamber of Commerce, Middletown area, the Mama Group, Kelseyville Business. I know that you guys went under a big effort at the very beginning of the shutdowns to kind of gather a base roll of businesses in each district and everything. And I imagine that helped throughout this process too. So I just want to thank you for really way ahead of whenever we even envisioned this program rolling out. Really started to reach out to our community businesses and really put that list together. I know I've seen it early on back in, I think it was April or May. There was a big effort going on by all the, our business community. And I just want to thank you and all of our business organizations in the county for being proactive in that. So you guys need to thank you too for starting out really early on this process. So I just wanted to do that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mo.
Good comment, Supervisor. Next, anyone else in the public wish to make a comment?
I followed up with a additional unmute request as well.
Thank you, Jake. Okay, hearing none, let's go ahead and bring it back to the board for final comments. Anyone else have anything left to say? So I will say this, I think this conversation highlights something that don't be a business in a silo. Make sure to reach out to your community, whatever is out there. Maybe it's not possible for you to be a member due to possible membership fees, but at least drop off your contact information. That way you can be a part of the larger conversation that's happening. I think we're trying our best to reach out to everyone. And if we don't have your information, it's hard to reach out to you, and then you have to find the information on your own. I know that I'm going to put a little pressure here on Ms. Flora, but yes, there is the PPP loans out there, and also the small business grant for COVID relief from the state of California. Round 2 is starting as of February 2nd, as of 8 a.m. This is not a first come, first serve, but if you have not gotten your application in, please make sure and submit an application, and Lake EDC is here to help you, to help navigate through the process. If you already did submit an application in round 1, you're automatically placed into round 2. And also know that there is a future small business grant coming up as the governor's budget set aside, I believe it was $2.3 billion. For small business grant. It doesn't have all the specifics yet, but it was for with employees of less than 100. And I believe that one is a first come, first serve. And so we will definitely need to get that information to you as quickly as possible. And I'll make sure to work this week to gather all that and whatever information has been already put out from the governor's economic development task force. So thank you very much, Nicole Flora, for all your hard work. It was a process to get to where we got, but overall the results were exactly what we were looking for. We all want to do more, and hopefully we can continue to obtain some of these funds to be able to offer these types of grants in order to support our small business, because they are the ones who support us in return to provide the services back to the community. So thank you so much. This was a great effort and a great success.
Thank you, Chair Sabatier. To add to that, if a business is not able to join a business association, there is a lot of information on Facebook. If you follow Lake EDC on Facebook, we post daily about whatever programs. There's a variety of grant programs and free technical assistance that's available to businesses if you just engage. So if nothing else, check there, because we do try to share as much as we possibly can. And one last note, I appreciate, again, the board's commitment to small business, and I hope that this isn't the last time the county and the EDC work together to continue to serve small business, COVID or not. So thank you.
Thank you very much.